Hi guys, welcome to another episode of The Aspiring Entrepreneur. I'm your host Hamza Chowdhury. It is Monday, March 22nd, 2021. In the daily recap video, I just go over the stocks that we cover on our Sunday night update. Do me a favor. I noticed we didn't get a lot of views on our Sunday video, and I did publish it a little late, so I apologize, but definitely in watching this video, please do watch the Sunday video. I went over a lot of the stocks and levels and explained sort of longer term thinking on a lot of the stocks that we do cover. I changed sort of a chart into a weekly chart and talked about a lot of the levels that we hit today, which was great. So please do me a favor if you haven't had a chance to watch Sunday's video where I sort of give what we can expect in the coming week, as opposed to just sort of a daily recap, just talking about today's behavior. And so for today, we'll start off on this week with Apple, Tesla, Palantir, Clover, and Spce, which is Virgin Intergalactic, and then of course our friend AI. And Apple was completely solid. You know, we identified this 120 level, and you can see we had quite a number of bounces. We closed right around 120 on Friday, and I mentioned the first level of resistance was going to be here at 123, and you can see we crossed it, and now we've held above it. So assuming we still close above it, you know, I'm still going to hold it as a red resistant, which I did explain in deeper detail why I do hold sort of resistance levels even when they get crossed. And so between 123 and 125, so it's exactly what we expected, guys. We had complete upward momentum, and I expect that we'll definitely trade, you know, I could see us crossing below the 123 tomorrow and just validating it as a support, and then between the 123 and 125. Okay, and so it was a solid day for Apple, and you can see that, you know, we had this great bounce off the 120. Tesla, you know, just what you know, loss of words. Definitely a reversal. We talked about this engulfing daily candle, and you know, the stock has just been bought up. There's a lot of people who weren't going to buy Tesla in the 800s, but were willing to get involved when it got flushed down to the 5s and the 6s. I've had a lot of friends personally ask me if they should get involved with Tesla, but nobody was asking when it was trading up at all-time highs. Okay, and so what we mentioned before was, you know, yesterday, and again referring to yesterday's video, you know, is why is this still green when we traded below it? And I mentioned that this flush just didn't really fulfill our organic, and that I really didn't, you know, I don't just change these things on a daily basis. And so the support that we have here at 660, I kept it green because I felt like we were going to trade above it, which if you watch yesterday's video, we had, you know, right at the 1 a.m. Pacific time when the market pre-market opens, we had a perfect bounce off of it, some validation on it, 660, and we now hit what's our next level, which has been a consistent resistance now for a few weeks. It's our 695. And so the 695 is where we're trading right now. Tesla just released some news that they're going to release their insurance, Tesla insurance, in other states. And there's a lot of good catalysts. You know, we talked about yesterday, Kathy Wood's $3,000 price target in 2025. And so, you know, a lot of people are really bullish on Tesla and all the things that they're doing. And so same thing, you know, 695 is going to hold as a resistance. And even if we close above it, we still have, you know, a 715, 710 resistance level. So I'm going to keep this resistance until I can really see a push right here to the 50-day, which we mentioned was our 775 resistance level. Okay, so once we can really start trading above 695, then I can see myself changing as a validation. But it's perfect bounce, perfect validation of 660, and now we're right back at 695, which I mentioned, you know, again, going back to Friday and yesterday's videos, it's kind of goofy that we're just sort of, you know, we're trading up and then we fail and then we sideways and then and it's just sort of choppy as opposed to a clear direction. But there's definitely a reversal here in Tesla, which is great news for all long-term trade, you know, for any long-term holders of the stock. Palantir, I mentioned yesterday too, just one of the weaker stocks. I did add, you know, some commentary in terms of, you know, where I think the stock wants to go. I did change this 2550 from a strong support, which I mentioned yesterday I was expecting us to hit, but we didn't get closer to than 25 bucks. So the fact that we couldn't even get over 25 to 2550, we failed. I feel like now it's definitely a clear resistance. My main heavy resistance was here at 2750, but 2550 is clearly going to be a resistance that Palantir needs to break. Again, we've been flushing out a lot of sellers and a lot of shares that were due to the lockout period, and so it's just been an overall weak stock. Hasn't been that exciting, and it's been trading relatively in a tight range. But the buyers are in here, and so anyone who wants to get into Palantir is already holding on to shares, and you're probably just adding to a position. And we're showing some positive momentum. We're definitely off the oversold on the RSI, and so you can see that on the daily, my Bollinger Band here is forming a channel. And the last time we formed a channel, we saw the major breakout. And I expect the same thing as the buyers are in this trade, and we should expect a movement, really in the next couple weeks leading to demo day, and I expect the same type of thing as we'll get a breakout and start testing and at least filling in the gap here in the 31s. And so I mentioned that my game plan is at least to sell, wait till over the 50 and then sell into this push over to 31, and then I can see this thing continuing its upward trend. Okay. Clover, solid stock as well. It's been good for us. It's just 815's held really well, and we've been trading sideways, but today I did add a clear resistance here at 880. I had mentioned the last few days that 925 was my first resistance level, but I could tell we struggled here at 910, and then clearly the last 4 sessions we had an issue at 880. And so I'm not saying we can't break it. I still feel like we can, but just the fact that we've had several bounces off of that level, I felt like it was important to identify for you guys. So I mentioned as before is 880. We can break above that. If we can close above it, then we can test the 925. And then I mentioned I am looking to sell my shares, pushing up here into the 1050s. And so that game plan hasn't changed whatsoever. And Virgin Galactic Spce, it was an interesting play. It's just 34 is clearly a resistance level, so I added that to the chart as well today. And 31 has been a really strong support for the stock, and so clearly 34 has been giving it some issues. And I mentioned to you guys before, it was one of my best plays last week, and I was expecting that when we were gapping up here and we definitely did a trend reversal, that we would start getting back up to the 50, and then there's still some more weakness in the stock, and so it just bounced back off the 31. And so I definitely think that as a solid support, and then of course 34 is a resistance level, and then we've had some bounces off this 32. Okay, so if you want to do a dab play in a small position, I would probably start a position around 32 with room to add around $31. Okay, but I definitely see this, and I'm more bullish on the stock. Of course, anything under the 50-day you're getting at a discount, and you can see it's already bounced and validated its anchored VWAP and its 200-day, and so I expect it definitely to get back up here into where it broke down initially when we had the sell-off around $38, $39 for long-term holders. And for short-term, like I said, I just scalp play this easily for $1 or $2. It's been an easy stress-free type of play. And the last one, which I actually held off from recording the daily recap because I was just fascinated. I call it the Algo Circus stock. Our friend AI, it just amazes me. You watch this price action and there's no news on the stock. This is just what it does. And I mentioned to you guys that this stock has been very interesting. I was short biased last week and I've been long, and mentioned that ideally you want to get back up here into the 110 when we had this breakdown around earnings. And it's just been an interesting stock to watch, just because of the fact that it breaks down and catches up, and then it holds levels, and the next day it fails those same levels that it held and consolidated very well in. And so we've had these just days of just a beatdown. And if you see that you're oversold and the momentum's negative, I'm starting to see that the negativity of the stock is starting to wind down. And it was just interesting to watch it go from, on no news, literally from 74 all the way up to almost $78, and then it's starting to come back down. But I identified some key levels here today as well, and so $73 definitely a strong support for the stock. And then my first level of resistance, where I think I'll be definitely selling a lot of shares, is over here at the $83 level. And then I mentioned yesterday going about $5 a spread. So the next level here is around 88, and the next there is about 93. And it's kind of nice, right? You have a stock. If you look at the average to range, it's it says it's 10, but it's more or less the last few sessions, $5 or $6 spread. And so how much you can risk if you're on the wrong side of the trade. And like for example, if you got here at 73 and you got up here to 78, that's a $5 spread. So there's constant ways to make a lot of money. You can see the massive amount of volume that just came into the stock. And so I still find it very interesting. Like I said, I just think that the stock just is controlled highly by the algos. And so I will be definitely selling a lot of shares coming into this 83 level, and just hold some as we ride back up. And like I mentioned, I wanted to see here a test still under the 50-day, right over here around 108. But again, you know, expect that the algos will just control on the stock and expect that type of price action. Okay, guys. So that's with that said, please do like this video if you did enjoy it, and subscribe to our channel. We're a 100% free content channel. If you have any questions or comments, do post them below. I do respond to every comment posted on this channel. And with that said, guys, I hope you wish you the best of luck, and I hope you have a wonderful week. And I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye.